The cold metal deck vibrated beneath Judd Park's boots as she stared into the endless darkness of space. Epsilon 9 Colony stood as humanity's most distant outpost, a rugged settlement carved into the rocky terrain of a harsh frontier world. Around her, warning systems flickered with an ominous red pulse, indicating imminent danger. Jay's hands, calloused from years of military service, gripped the observation deck's railing. Her steel-gray eyes tracked the distant sensor readings, watching the approaching Galactic Confederation fleet. They were coming. Massive starships that dwarfed anything humanity had ever constructed moved with calculated precision, their metallic hulls gleaming like predators hunting vulnerable prey. But they didn't know humanity's true nature. The colony behind her hummed with quiet preparation. Engineers worked silently, retrofitting mining equipment into makeshift defense systems. Technicians integrated quantum communication networks that would allow instantaneous strategic coordination. Every human knew this was more than just another battle. This was a fight for survival. Jay remembered the stories her grandmother told her about Earth's final global conflicts, how humanity had transformed from a species constantly fighting itself to a unified force of incredible resilience. When environmental disasters and global wars threatened to destroy their home planet, humans didn't surrender. They adapted. They innovated. They survived. The first long-range scanners began tracking the Confederation ships. Their technology was advanced, their military might legendary across multiple star systems. They had conquered dozens of civilizations, absorbing their resources, eliminating any potential resistance. They saw humans as just another species to be cataloged and controlled. They were wrong. Epsilon 9's defensive grid began powering up. What appeared to be simple mining equipment and communication towers transformed, revealing hidden weapon systems. Plasma cannons emerged from concealed positions, quantum-locked targeting systems coming online with a soft electronic hum. Commander Park, a young communications officer, approached, her voice steady despite the tension. Confederation fleet is now within engagement range. They're not attempting communication. Jay nodded. Of course they weren't. The Confederation never negotiated. They conquered. The first wave of attack would come soon. Smaller fighter craft would probe their defenses, testing weaknesses. Jai had prepared for this moment. Every human on this colony knew exactly what to do, how to move, where to position themselves. Beneath the colony's surface, massive underground facilities housed technology the Confederation couldn't imagine. Adaptive AI systems that could reconfigure defensive strategies in milliseconds. Quantum communication networks that could coordinate resistance across multiple star systems instantaneously. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to transform challenges into opportunities. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw potential solutions. The first energy signatures of incoming fighter craft appeared on the long-range scanners. Sleek, deadly machines designed for precise destruction. But Jay Park wasn't worried. Her people had spent generations preparing for this moment. Activate defensive protocols, she commanded, her voice calm and clear. The colony around her transformed. What seemed like a simple mining settlement revealed itself as a sophisticated military installation. Every structure, every piece of equipment had been designed with multiple potential uses. Mining lasers could become weapon systems. Communication arrays could jam enemy signals. Outside, the first Confederation fighters crossed the defensive perimeter. They expected easy prey. They would find something entirely different. Jay watched the incoming fleet, a slight smile crossing her lips. The Galactic Confederation believed they understood humanity. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. As the first energy weapons discharged and the colony's defensive systems roared to life, one thing became crystal clear. This was not just a battle. This was humanity's statement to the universe. We are not victims. We are survivors. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to witness what would happen next. Woo Kim watched the holographic display with laser-focused intensity. His fingers moved like lightning across quantum interfaces, each touch creating complex strategic calculations that rippled through the colony's defensive networks. The Confederation ships looked beautiful and terrifying, metallic structures that seemed more like living predators than machines. Their hull designs suggested centuries of technological advancement, sleek curves that could slice through planetary defenses with minimal effort. But they hadn't met humans before. Each Confederation fighter carried advanced weapon systems capable of destroying entire settlements in seconds. Their computational networks were considered the most sophisticated in known space. Generations of conquered civilizations had contributed to their technological superiority. Wu understood something critical. Technology wasn't just about hardware. It was about adaptation. His team had spent years studying Confederation battle strategies. Every movement, every tactical approach was now mapped and analyzed. The quantum computers beneath Epsilon 9 colony processed millions of potential scenarios every second, creating responsive defense mechanisms that could change faster than enemy targeting systems could lock. Incoming primary assault wave, a soft electronic voice announced. Wu's left hand touched a specific interface. Immediately, underground defense systems began recalibrating. What looked like simple mining equipment started transforming. Drill mechanisms becoming energy weapons, communication towers converting into signal jammers. The first Confederation fighters crossed the colony's outer defensive perimeter. They moved with practiced precision, expecting minimal resistance. Their pilots had conquered dozens of civilizations. This would be another quick victory. They were wrong. Plasma bursts erupted from seemingly innocent geological survey points. The first wave of fighters found themselves caught in a complex web of defensive fire that seemed to anticipate their every movement. Adaptive AI systems tracked and countered their approaches faster than any traditional targeting mechanism could. Wu watched the battle unfold like a complex dance. Each Confederation attack was met with a uniquely human response, unpredictable, fluid, constantly changing. Tactical shift in enemy approach, another team member reported. Wu nodded. The Confederation was adapting too. Their military had survived countless conflicts by being flexible, but humanity's flexibility was born from something deeper, survival itself. Earth's history was a testament to adaptation. Climate disasters, global conflicts, resource scarcity. Humans hadn't just survived these challenges. They had transformed because of them. The battle above Epsilon 9 became more than a military engagement. It was a statement about human potential. Confederation ships began experiencing strange system failures. Communication networks became scrambled. Targeting computers reported impossible scenarios. What seemed like simple technical glitches were actually sophisticated counter-technological measures developed by human engineers. Each defensive response was unique. Where traditional military doctrine suggested consistent patterns, human strategies shifted constantly. One moment, a defense system looked like a communication array. The next, it became a precise weapon platform. Wu's fingers continued their dance across interfaces. He wasn't just defending. He was learning, analyzing, preparing the next strategic move. The Confederation would soon understand that humans were not just another species to be conquered. They were a force of technological and strategic innovation that defied traditional understanding. As another wave of fighters approached, Wu allowed himself a small, confident smile. The real battle was just beginning. The quantum network pulsed with electric blue light, spreading across star systems like living tissue. Hannah Lee watched her creation come alive, a communication system that redefined how humanity would fight. Most people didn't understand quantum communication. They saw complex machines and advanced technology. Hannah saw something more profound, a nervous system for human resistance. Each quantum node represented more than a communication point. It was a strategic hub, capable of transmitting information faster than light, carrying complex battle strategies across impossible distances. The Confederation believed they controlled communication networks. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Hannah's fingers moved across holographic interfaces, her eyes reflecting cascading data streams. Every human settlement, from tiny mining colonies to massive orbital stations, was now connected through her network. Information flowed like electricity, adaptive and instantaneous. Her breakthrough wasn't just about speed, it was about intelligence. The quantum network could predict enemy movements, analyze battle scenarios, and coordinate human responses in milliseconds. Where traditional communication systems required time and translation, this network understood context, strategy, and potential outcomes. A small alert blinked on her screen. Epsilon 9 colony was experiencing heavy Confederation pressure. Within nanoseconds, defensive strategies from 3 different human settlements were synchronized and transmitted. Weapon configurations, energy signatures, tactical approaches, all shared instantly. The Confederation's military had never encountered such a dynamic communication system. Their networks were hierarchical, slow, dependent on central command structures. Humanity's network was organic, changing, alive. Hannah remembered the challenges. Years of research, countless failures, moments when her colleagues thought her ideas were impossible. Earth's scientific community had always pushed boundaries. Where others saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Her quantum network wasn't just a communication tool. It was a living, breathing strategic organism. Confederation ships began experiencing strange interference. Communication channels became unpredictable. Targeting systems reported impossible scenarios. What seemed like technical glitches were actually sophisticated disruption protocols embedded within the quantum network. Each human settlement now acted like a neural node, sharing information, adapting, responding. A mining colony could provide tactical data that would help a military outpost thousands of light years away. A research station could transmit technological countermeasures instantaneously. The network knew no boundaries, no traditional military limitations. Hannah watched the first major strategic response unfold. When Confederation forces attacked one human settlement, defensive strategies from multiple systems were already in motion before the first energy weapon was fired. Adaptive AI systems processed potential scenarios faster than any traditional military computer. Her creation was changing warfare itself. The quantum network represented humanity's true strength, collective intelligence. Not just technological prowess, but the ability to learn, adapt, and respond as a unified organism. Confederation military leaders would soon realize they weren't fighting isolated human settlements. They were confronting a single, interconnected intelligence that could think, respond, and strategize faster than any traditional military structure. Hannah allowed herself a small smile. The real revolution wasn't happening in space battles. It was happening in the invisible networks connecting human potential. The quantum communication system lit up again, neural pathways of human resistance spreading across the stars. Each pulse of light represented hope, strategy, and an unbreakable human spirit. The enemy was about to learn a critical lesson. Humanity was not just another species. They were a force of nature. The communication room hummed with electric tension. Judd Park stood alone, her reflection visible against the dark glass of the quantum transmission array. Millions of human settlements would hear her message. The Galactic Confederation would receive a broadcast that would change everything. Her fingers touched the communication interface. One simple command would send humanity's most powerful message yet. Confederation communication networks had always been about control. Hierarchical systems that filtered information, maintained strict protocols. Humanity's network was different, open, dynamic, alive. The quantum transmission system behind her wasn't just a communication device. It was a weapon. Every human settlement was now connected through Hannah Lee's quantum network. When Jay spoke, her message would travel faster than light, penetrating every Confederation communication channel simultaneously. She had studied their culture, their military, their belief systems. Humans weren't just preparing to fight. They were preparing to communicate in a way no species had ever done before. The Confederation saw themselves as superior. Civilizers, conquerors, They had absorbed dozens of civilizations, believing technological might meant absolute power. They didn't understand that true power came from adaptation, from understanding. Jay's message was more than words. It was a psychological strategy. Her eyes reflected the quantum transmission indicators. Each light represented a potential communication pathway, a neural network that could transmit not just sound, but emotional context, strategic information, cultural understanding. When she spoke, her voice would carry more than language. It would carry human experience. The transmission began. To the Galactic Confederation, her voice was calm, almost conversational. We are not asking for mercy. We are offering you a chance to understand us. Every Confederation military channel lit up. Communication officers across their fleet watched in confusion. No species had ever communicated like this during an active invasion. Every world we've touched, we've transformed. Every challenge we've faced, we've overcome. The message carried more than words. Embedded within the quantum transmission were cultural memories, glimpses of human history, moments of survival, technological breakthroughs. The collective experience of a species that had faced extinction multiple times and emerged stronger. Confederation leaders would receive not just a message, but a psychological profile of humanity. Your invasion ends here. Those 5 words carried a weight beyond simple threat. They represented collective human determination, a species that had survived global conflicts, environmental destruction, technological challenges, and emerged not just surviving, but transforming. The quantum network ensured every Confederation soldier, every military leader, every administrative unit would experience this message simultaneously. No filtering, no interpretation, pure, direct communication. Psychological warfare had just been redefined. Jai knew this wasn't just about defeating an enemy. It was about making them understand. Humans weren't a civilization to be conquered. They were a force of adaptive intelligence that could transform any challenge. The transmission ended, but its impact was just beginning. Across Confederation fleets, communication systems began experiencing strange responses. Military protocols seemed to shift. Strategic assessments started changing. Something fundamental was happening. Humanity had just communicated in a way no species had ever done before. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The human fleet emerged from quantum tunnels like a constellation of technological nightmares. Hundreds of vessels, each one a testament to human innovation, moved with synchronized precision that defied traditional understanding of space combat. Jay Park watched from the central command ship. Around her, crew members moved with calm efficiency. This wasn't just a battle. This was humanity's statement to the universe. Confederation forces had spent generations believing they understood warfare. They had conquered civilizations across multiple star systems. Their technology was considered unbeatable. Their military strategies were legendary. They had never met humans. Each human vessel carried technology that blurred lines between weapon systems and living organisms. Adaptive AI networks connected ships like neurons, allowing instantaneous strategic responses. Where traditional military structures required hierarchical commands, human ships moved like a single intelligent organism. The first Confederation response came quickly. Energy weapons discharge, creating brilliant streams of destructive potential across the dark canvas of space. Traditional tactics suggested these attacks would cripple any defending force. But humans were not traditional. Ships that seemed damaged suddenly transformed. Weapon systems emerged from what appeared to be structural damage. Communication arrays became defensive shields. Mining equipment converted into precision strike platforms. Wu Kim's strategic networks processed millions of scenarios every second. The quantum communication system developed by Hannah Lee allowed instantaneous coordination that made traditional military communication look prehistoric. Confederation commanders watched in growing horror. Their advanced targeting systems couldn't lock onto human vessels. Energy signatures changed faster than computers could track. What looked like a vulnerable point became a devastating attack position within milliseconds. Humanity had turned warfare into an art form of adaptation. The battle wasn't just about technological superiority. It represented generations of survival. Every human vessel carried the collective experience of a species that had faced extinction multiple times and emerged stronger. Massive Confederation battleships, each capable of destroying entire planetary systems, found themselves outmaneuvered by vessels that looked almost primitive. But there was nothing primitive about human innovation. Defensive systems became offensive platforms. Communication networks transformed into weapon coordination systems. What the Confederation saw as chaos, humans saw as strategic flexibility. Hours passed. What should have been a quick conquest became a fight for survival for the Confederation. Their military doctrine, built on centuries of systematic conquests, began to crumble against an enemy that didn't follow any known rules of engagement. Japark's final transmission was simple and direct. Your invasion ends here. Those words carried more weight than any weapon. They represented a species that had transformed every challenge into an opportunity for growth. As the battle concluded, historical records would later show something unprecedented. A conflict where the defending force suffered minimal casualties while the attacking force was completely decimated. The Galactic Confederation had come to conquer. They left having learned a critical lesson about humanity. We are not just a species that survives. We are a force that transforms everything we touch. The stars watched in silent testimony to humanity's greatest moment of triumph.